Yep, decided to have a night game at home against South Carolina to open the SEC East. Always a different kind of environment to play at night at home, and our guys are excited. And anytime you're playing an SEC game, we can expect it to be extremely physical, and looking forward to playing this game.
We'll begin with Bob Hope of the Arkansas Democrat Gazette.
Hey, Kirby, how you doing today?
Good, Bob.
From an emotional standpoint, what's this week been like for Will Muschamp going against his former team? I mean, preparing to go against his former team, obviously. What do you think it'll be like during the game?
Not real sure. I think he's a consummate pro when it comes to work and professionalism, and he's had this situation a lot before because he's been all over the SEC. He was the head coach at Florida, ended up at Auburn. And he's been in Auburn, ended up in South Carolina, and he's gone against, both those programs repeatedly. So it's not new to him, that's for sure. So I know he'll handle it well.
And obviously, you're familiar with Shane. What kind of job do you think he's doing at Carolina so far?
Tremendous job. He's got a lot of momentum. Those players and fans are buying in and believing in him. And I think the energy he's created has helped create the momentum.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Next we'll go to Ben Portnoy of the State.
Kirby, obviously Jordan Davis is a big part of what y'all do on the defensive line, but maybe wasn't the most high profile of the guys you brought into that 2018 class. Just what do you kind of remember about recruiting him and how he got to Georgia, and maybe what you guys evaluated when you guys were looking at him?
He was a joy to recruit. Wonderful mom, Shay, and his two brothers. He was very quiet and hardworking. Everybody at school talks about his great personality, and we just felt like he was really talented. And to see a guy that size with his athleticism is what popped on our radar. And we just kept recruiting him, very consistent, and he was a guy that came down to a couple games and fell in love with Coach Scott and our place, and we're blessed to have him.
And if I'm not mistaken, he was mostly a basketball player growing up and didn't start playing football until pretty late. Just what was that progression like, and how have you kind of seen him, evolve in his time at Georgia now too?
He got back. Well, I still remember the freshman year. He kept on the scout team, and I didn't think. I was like, well, I don't know if he's going to help us this year. He'll be a developmental guy. He'll be good next year. And I guess it was by about week 5 or 6, he just kept getting better and better and better. And then we went to go play Florida, and we're like, man, this guy's ready to play. He can really help us. And he made a couple really impactful plays in that game. And you could see the progression of him getting better throughout the year. And just nice to see that. That's what as coaches you want to see. And he improved.
Thanks, Coach.
Next is Mark Weiser of the Athens Banner-Herald.
Hey, Kirby. They're honoring the first black football players at Georgia this weekend. What did you and your players take away from spending time with them early last year? I guess they spoke to your team.
Yeah, I think it was maybe last spring. But it was a tremendous honor. First of all, I got to visit with them in my office one-on-one, and each one kind of went through their careers and what they've done since Georgia. And it's just incredible the impact each one's had on their communities. 2 of them, are preachers, and it's just pretty cool to have them be able to share their experiences here and the rest of their life with our players, because I think you learn. You learn from history, and certainly think our players give these guys a lot of credit for trailblazing the opportunity that was created for them.
Thank you.
Next we'll go to Anthony Nasher at Rivals.com.
Hey, good morning, Kirby. What's been your 2-game assessment of Danny Kendrick so far this year?
He's done a good job. I think emotionally the big one was the Clemson game. To be able to play against your former team and the guys you're close to is always tough, and having to watch all that tape leading up to that game, it's just awkward sometimes. But he did a good job with his composure in the game. for us has been getting him in good conditioning shape in order to be able to play a complete game and play full speed all the time. And he's really intelligent. He's learned our defense well. He's picked it up quick. I think, you know, the learning ability he had at Clemson and the amount they do defensively helped him be able to handle our volume. He's done a nice job of that. He's going to continue to get better. He's got to work really hard, and we've talked to him about continuing to play physical.
Quick follow-up. What did you think about Coach Beamer's comment the other day about this most talented Georgia team ever?
I didn't even see it, to be honest with you. I haven't paid attention to it. He's not the first to say that. They say that every year, so it's always nice to. It's always nice for those guys to be able to say that when they're playing us, and then they usually say it about the next team they play too.
Thanks, man.
Next is Mike Griffith for the AJC.
Coach, you gave us an update last night on the quarterbacks and different conditions. I guess I'm just wondering, you know, how important is it for JT to play right now? You know, you mentioned that some of it had to do with his health and progression, but is it a deal where you think it's important that he plays, or is it a situation where you feel good enough about the other guys that he'll be 100% before he's back out there?
Well, the biggest question is how does he practice, right? It's not about whether he plays or not. It's like, is he healthy? Is he healthy enough to go out there and be 100% in practice so that he has an opportunity to be as effective as he can? And that's a big rehab question, and I think he's feeling much better. But, you know, it's whether or not he's 100% throwing the ball down the field and moving in the pocket is the key ingredient there.
And then just to follow up on Kier, did he get any reps at receiver? Is he strictly punt return? And just kind of your thoughts on his importance in that receiving core?
Well, I don't understand. You're asking about the game or you're asking about practice?
Yeah, I was asking about the game.
No, in the game he did not. He played at punt returner. As far as I'm aware, I don't think he took any in the game. He takes them every day in practice, so he's working hard. He's been much improved this week, and I think he's got a good chance of helping us this week. So we're certainly hopeful he can.
Thank you.
Next is Edgar Townsend, Orlando Sentinel.
Yeah, hey Kirby. Thanks for doing this. Having been at Alabama and gone up against Coach Saban a number of times since, I know there are a lot of factors, but if you had to pinpoint one, what that's helped him sustain excellence for such a long period, what would it be?
His leadership ability and his ability to run an overall program and hold the standard. You know, he's done a great job of holding the standard every day, every year, every situation. Puts a lot of thought into it and works his way through it. That along with some good players.
Do you see the gap between them and the rest of the SEC as more significant than it was 10 years ago, let's say, or is it narrowed some?
I don't know. I haven't seen them play, you know, so it's year to year. I would speculate, and it's only the years that I've seen them that I would have an opinion on that. But my concern is strictly with South Carolina right now.
I understand. Appreciate it.
Next we'll go to Steve Olson.
Hey, Coach, how are you today?
Good, Steve.
I remember specifically hearing about the wide receiver group overall heading into Clemson. Through 2 games, how would you assess that group so far this year, Coach?
Well, they haven't had a lot of opportunities. They didn't get a lot of opportunities in Clemson. They got a few more in the UAB game and thought they did that well in terms of, being able to throw the ball vertical and work some things. So it's it's day to day. It's like anything. You're only judged by your last performance. And we try not to use the perception or judgment factor. We try to look at what's on the field. How do you do day to day? How do you grow and get better? And we talk all the time about, we're on this trajectory to get where we want to get, and we have to keep the climb going. And that starts and also includes wide receivers. Is we've got to keep this trajectory going, getting better and growing. Number one, getting healthy, but number two, playing better. And we've got a lot of players that have not played a lot of football at that position, and we're trying to grow those guys and gain confidence. And you guys only see the finished product of Saturdays, but we get to see them each and every day, and the hope is they continue to get better.
Defensively for South Carolina, Coach, what jumps out to you with Brad Johnson and Cam Smith, 19 and 9 for the Gamecocks, Coach?
Well, both of them are good athletes. We recruited Cam hard, and those guys played with hard to get their hands on you. They affect you. They're good tacklers, and they've got a great front. They've got really athletic big front to help them out.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Next we'll go to follow-up from Ben Porto.
Kirby, just a quick question on South Carolina's running backs. I mean, I know you've been on the opposite side of this, or you can rotate 3 or 4 guys. Just what's the challenge of that? Why is that maybe difficult to defend? And I guess what is that? How do you go about preparing for something like that on the defensive end?
Yeah, they've got a tremendous backfield. I probably didn't understand that until I turned the tape on Sunday. Obviously, those guys have played really hard, really physical, downhill runners, and those guys are talented. I mean, that's the biggest thing that jumps off the tape is I'm like, man, Kevin Harris, ran through us last year, and it was really hard to tackle. We know what Marshawn Lloyd is. He's a tremendous one-cut runner, and then DeQuandre White and McDowell are great players. So I'm sitting there going, man, they got some good backs, really good backs. And it's similar to us in terms of each one presents a different challenge, and tackling will be one of the keys to this game. And, we didn't have our best tackling performance last week.